Is Toronto about to pull off the ultimate addition by subtraction move, or are they just rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship? Listen up, folks. The Toronto Blue Jays are at a crossroads that could define their entire 2026 season. And this latest trade proposal might just be the most polarizing chess move we've seen all winter. After watching Kyle Tucker slip through their fingers to the Dodgers and Bo Bichette pack his bags for the Mets, the front office is scrambling to salvage what's left of their competitive window. The Cody Bellinger reunion with the Yankees? Forget about it. That door's practically slammed shut. Now Heavy.com drops this bombshell proposal on our laps. Ship out Anthony Santander, Nathan Lukes, Bowden Francis, and prospect Johnny King to St. Louis in exchange for reliever JoJo Romero and outfielder Lars Nootbaar. On paper, it sounds like Toronto's trading a 44-home run slugger for a setup man and a guy who barely cracked .240 last season. The immediate reaction from half the fan base? Absolute fury. We're giving up Santander for that. They're screaming into the void of social media. But hold on. Before you throw your phone across the room, let's dig deeper into what's really happening here. This isn't just about swapping names on a roster sheet. This is about the Blue Jays acknowledging a brutal reality. Santander's massive contract might actually be an anchor dragging them down rather than the life raft they thought they were getting. Remember, this is the same slugger who went from 44 bombs in Baltimore to a forgettable campaign in Toronto that left him watching the World Series from the sidelines due to injury. The shine has worn off, and insiders like Ben Nicholson-Smith are openly questioning whether his deal favors the players, not the Blue Jays anymore. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are sitting on two assets that could address Toronto's most glaring weaknesses: bullpen depth and outfield consistency. Romero isn't just some random middle reliever. This guy recorded 8 saves in 9 opportunities down the stretch last season and has been a high-leverage weapon for years. Over the past 2 seasons, he's accumulated 54 holds and 9 saves, numbers that rival what Jeff Hoffman was doing before he became Toronto's closer. Think about that progression. Hoffman was a setup guy who evolved into a dominant closer. Could Romero follow the same trajectory in a Blue Jays uniform? And then there's Nootbaar, the enigma wrapped in potential. Sure, his .240 average doesn't scream impact player, but context matters. He led the Cardinals in chase rate, discipline, and hard hit percentage, 2 metrics that suggest there's untapped power waiting to explode under the right coaching. With award-winning hitting guru David Popkins in Toronto's corner, the same coach who just publicly declared Santander is coming back on a vengeance tour, imagine what he could unlock in a 26-year-old outfielder who's already shown flashes of brilliance. Nootbaar's 119 hits last season would have ranked 6th on Toronto's roster, only behind Vlad Jr., Bichette, Springer, Clement, and Kirk. That's not nothing. The emotional core of this debate boils down to one question. Are the Blue Jays giving up too early on Santander's redemption arc, or are they smartly cutting their losses before his value craters completely? Popkins believes in the bounce back, calling Santander someone who really knows how to be successful. But front office priorities have shifted. They're no longer rewarding past production. They're building for next year's competitiveness. That's a cold, calculated business decision that leaves sentiment at the door. Let's break down exactly why this trade makes strategic sense beyond the surface-level outrage, because the devil and the genius is in the details. First, the bullpen situation. Toronto's relief core heading into 2026 looks like a patchwork quilt held together with duct tape and hope. They've added Cody Ponce, Tyler Rogers, and Kazuma Okamoto this winter, but none of those names inspire the kind of confidence you need when protecting a 1-run lead in the 8th inning. Now compare their current options to what Romero brings. In 2024 and 2025 combined, only Jeff Hoffman's 64 combined holds/saves and Tyler Rogers' 65 holds/saves posted better numbers than Romero's 63 holds/saves. That's elite company. Here's where it gets fascinating. Hoffman's evolution mirrors exactly what Romero could become. Before Hoffman took over closing duties in Toronto, he had 31 holds and 11 saves over 2 years. Sound familiar? Romero's 54 holds and 9 saves over the same period show he's been battle-tested in high-pressure situations, just waiting for his opportunity to slam the door in the ninth. The Blue Jays don't just need another arm, they need someone who can step into a defined role immediately. Romero checks that box with a Sharpie, not a pencil. But let's address the elephant in the room. Giving up a 44-homer guy feels like organizational malpractice at first glance. Except Santander's 2025 season was a disaster movie with no happy ending. Injuries kept him off the World Series roster entirely, and whispers around the organization suggest his hefty contract has become more burden than blessing. Nicholson Smith's reporting was crystal clear. If Toronto wants to move Santander, they'll likely have to eat salary or absorb another bad contract in return. This Cardinals deal avoids that nightmare scenario by packaging him with expendable pieces like Lukes, Francis, and King. Speaking of Lukes, he was already being shopped around as a potential trade chip if the Blue Jays had landed Tucker. Mike Petriello floated his name as a fit for San Francisco's outfield woes, proving there's legitimate external interest. Francis, meanwhile, has been a Swiss Army knife for Toronto, capable of starting or long relief, but he's not untouchable. The Cardinals get immediate rotation, depth, and outfield help, while Toronto clears salary and roster logjam in one surgical strike. Now, let's talk about Lars Nootbaar's hidden upside, because this is where analytical minds start salivating. Yes, his batting average was mediocre. Yes, his counting stats don't jump off the page. But according to StatCast, he posted the highest chase rate discipline and hardest hit contact percentage on the entire Cardinals roster. Translation, he's making quality contact and showing plate discipline, two foundational skills that elite hitting coaches dream about molding. David Popkins has already worked miracles with hitters who had raw tools but needed refinement. Give him a 26-year-old with Nootbaar's physical tools and work ethic, and you might be looking at a .270 hitter with 25-homer upside by midseason. Consider this projection. If Nootbaar improves his average by just 30 points, entirely realistic under Popkins' tutelage, while maintaining his power metrics, he becomes a .270/20 HR outfielder with plus defense. That's a legitimate, everyday player, not a fourth outfielder. His 13 homers, 48 RBIs, and 24 doubles from last year establish a baseline. The ceiling is what gets exciting. The salary cap implications also can't be ignored. Santander's contract was structured when the Blue Jays thought they were one piece away from contention. Now, with Tucker gone and Bichette departed, that window has shifted. By moving Santander's money off the books, Toronto gains flexibility to pursue other upgrades. Maybe a starting pitcher, maybe another bullpen arm, maybe even a surprise free agent signing in late February when prices drop. Financial maneuverability is a weapon, and this trade hands them a loaded gun. What about the Cardinals' perspective? They're getting a potential bounce-back candidate in Santander. Remember, Popkins himself believes in the Vengeance Tour, immediate outfield depth with Lukes, rotation insurance with Francis, and a southpaw prospect in King. For a team trying to retool on the fly, that's 4 lottery tickets with varying degrees of upside. Romero and Nootbaar, while valuable, are expendable if it means addressing multiple roster holes simultaneously. So, where does this leave us? And more importantly, where does it leave the Blue Jays' championship aspirations? This trade proposal isn't about making a splash, it's about making smart, calculated moves that address systemic weaknesses without mortgaging the future. Toronto doesn't need another aging slugger with injury concerns eating up payroll. They need a shutdown reliever who can bridge to the closer, and they need a young outfielder with untapped potential who fits their competitive timeline. Romero and Nootbaar aren't sexy names that'll dominate SportsCenter highlights, but they're exactly the kind of under-the-radar acquisitions that separate contenders from pretenders. The real genius here is risk mitigation. If Santander bounces back in St. Louis, the Cardinals win. But if he continues to struggle, Toronto dodged a bullet by unloading him before his trade value evaporated completely. Meanwhile, Romero gives them immediate bullpen stability, something they desperately lacked last season when games slipped away in the 7th and 8th innings. And Nootbaar? He's the ultimate prove-it player who could either justify the trade or become a valuable trade chip himself next winter. Let's not forget the psychological impact on the clubhouse. Bringing in hungry, younger players like Nootbaar sends a message. Past performance doesn't guarantee your roster spot. That competitive edge, that hunger to prove doubters wrong, can be infectious. The Blue Jays need that energy after watching their core fracture this offseason. The final verdict? This trade works if, and only if, Toronto's front office believes Popkins can unlock Nootbaar's potential and Romero can handle high-leverage situations consistently. The data supports both assumptions. The risk is manageable. The upside is legitimate. And most importantly, it keeps the Blue Jays in the hunt without sacrificing long-term flexibility. Now, here's what I need from you, the most passionate baseball fans on the planet. Do you trust the Blue Jays to pull the trigger on a move like this? Are you ready to bet on potential over-proven production? Drop your honest takes in the comments below. And I mean honest, no sugarcoating. Tell me if you think Nootbaar becomes a star or a bust. Tell me if Romero's the next Hoffman or just another reliever who flames out. And while you're at it, smash that like button if you want to see more deep dive analysis that goes beyond the surface level hot takes. This is the kind of trade that defines franchises. Let's debate it like our playoff hopes depend on it, because they absolutely do.